Well, welcome to the show. We got Mac Hereford on. He played for Alabama, won a national championship with them. You're into marketing now, like
Yep.
sports betting, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Welcome.
not necessarily sports bet.
Okay.
I do sports bet a little bit.
Yeah.
But one of the companies I consulted for is a big sports betting company.
Yeah.
And I got into it because of that.
Gotcha.
Has some crazy stories from sports betting due to that. But yeah.
Yeah. So how do you get to Alabama?
So I grew up in Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised in Birmingham, Alabama. Then following that, went to high school in Virginia, boarding school, and just always had the dream since I was a little kid. Like that's all I wanted to do. Grew up wearing Alabama jerseys. Grew up talking Alabama football.
Crazy.
Bled Crimson, and then got an opportunity to have a preferred walk-on spot. So there's walk-on, which is like your Rudy. It was what you can envision.
Yeah.
Like guys like trying out when they get to campus, can come back and try out every year. We do have walk-on tryouts, and then a preferred walk-on is a thing where the term, some people say it's like glorified walk-on.
Yeah.
Essentially, you don't have to try out or anything. They don't have enough scholarships. They don't see you as a scholarship guy immediately coming in, but maybe they do later on.
Yeah.
And so you've got a spot on the team. You've got a locker in the locker room. You come in, no tryout, and you're on the team. So I got that opportunity and got to Alabama. And there's a lot that went into that, but that's the long story short.
That's crazy. If you could relive one moment from, just being on the field, what would it be?
Gosh, there's a lot of them. I'll give you three.
Okay.
So one of my favorite moments has to be the very first time I ever dressed out.
Yeah.
For the Crimson Tide.
Mm-hmm.
It was a dream at one point, and then it becomes a reality. You get to the locker room and you see your jersey, the Alabama jersey with your last name on it.
Crazy.
And I'm sitting there and I'm like, holy cow! Like it's so much that you're like, how can I take in every second of this and live in the present? But you also got a job to do. You're about to be in a game, so. That was one of them for sure, just running out of the tunnel for the first time because I watched those guys as a kid, every single year. And I can remember like vividly as a kid, they always played Thunderstruck.
Yeah.
You smell like funnel cakes in the air. It's like this incredible environment at Alabama where all the fans are going nuts. But to get to do that as a player, you can imagine I've envisioned this my whole life. And then I'm there and I'm running out of the tunnel and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Like I've really done this to a certain extent. I've really accomplished my dream and goal that I've wanted to do my whole entire life. That was like the mountaintop.
Yeah. How hard did you have to work to get to that point?
I would say
was it a grind or did it just kind of just like naturally happen?
It was an absolute grind.
Yeah.
I think the thing was the whole time growing up, I remember like weirdly enough, you get weird thoughts in the shower, but I'm in the shower in in ninth grade or something. And I can even remember thinking like I'm sitting there and I'm grinding in high school football.
Crazy.
And I'm like, it doesn't look great right now. I'm playing just freshman football as a freshman.
Yeah.
But I could envision myself truly being there. And then I did all the things necessary. I was waking up, especially my junior year, waking up in the morning at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., like every morning of off season, throwing with our quarterback, trying to be the best player I could be and executing and everything that I could improve. So it's like, all right, if I wasn't fast enough or wasn't, the strongest, what could I do? Because there's guys at Alabama, they're incredible at everything. That like the scholarship guys are incredible. They're all like, athletic specimen. They can run as fast as you can imagine. They can jump as high as you can.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how do I perfect the game? And I would say I worked hard in the weight room in high school, but really on the field, on weekends. Like instead of going out and doing other things, I was putting in work on the field. And we had a great group of guys around me that also had goals and dreams to be at that level too.
Sure.
And so that made it a lot of fun. So just, I would say a ton of work and hard work and dedication and never letting that goal go. I used to, there's a quote that I like fell in love with at a young age. I think I was in, I don't know, maybe 6th, 7th grade. And I printed out a picture of each of these schools that I kind of wanted to go to or liked.
I love that.
And it was like Alabama, Texas, UNC, maybe some more. And then I had a quote that said, I will prepare and someday my chance will come. So it's Abraham Lincoln's quote. And I just followed that. I was like, I'm going to be the most prepared. I'm going to prepare regardless of in the moment.
Yeah.
If it looked like I was, I may not be the starting guy in high school.
Sure.
Maybe a second or third string guy in high school. But I'm not going to give up on that dream. And I'm going to do everything I possibly can so that when I do get an opportunity, whether it's 1 second, whether it's one play, that I'm going to make the most of it and achieve that goal. So it took a lot of work. I drove myself to camps in high school. My parents I really loved the way they handled like my recruiting process. A lot of parents, go to every game, watch every bit of film, call college coaches, taking their kids to every camp. My parents didn't do that. They were like, I think they did it the best way possible for me. I think everyone's unique and has a different way of doing it. But for me, they said, if you really want it, you have to go and find a way to get it. And so I was figuring out a way to DM coaches on Twitter at the time.
Crazy.
I was
You're always a marketer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was driving myself to camps. I was, following up with coaches, emailing coaches, even calling like universities on those like toll-free basically numbers where you're not going to get an answer.
Right.
Leaving messages like,
dang,
saying I wanted to play at this school or that school.
On the field and off the field too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't realize that.
It requires a ton. Like it's because at a certain extent it's a little bit political.
Yeah.
Guys, there will be guys. Everyone who plays Division I sports, even college sports in general, I think is very talented. You have to be talented, but there's also a lot of politics of parents calling coaches, of going to these certain combines, these certain camps.
Or you just have a connection inside,
Yes.
like family, friends, whatever.
Exactly. Or someone played there before, your dad played there, your brother played there, whatever it may be. I didn't have any of those. I was like, I had to put in the work off the field. So it came down to, like, for me, being the best in the classroom, getting good enough grades, because then I'd be able to get into better colleges, or more educated, smarter colleges, whatever the term is.
Sure.
And then it came down to me working on my recruiting, talking to coaches, staying in touch with them, going to camps, driving myself to camps every off season. Every time I was home for summer, I was literally signing up for camps, driving myself to camps, shaking hands with coaches, trying to talk to them just on my behalf. And then the work on the field. Every single game, right after the game, like I remember one game, I think I got a concussion, and literally we upload film very quickly. In high school, our school did.
Yeah.
I would be editing my clips from that game, preparing a tape from just that game alone, because I wanted it that bad.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it sounds like visualization, manifestation was like a big part, like you putting those pictures on the wall. How important is that for like any goal that you have?
I think it's very important. I think the main thing is everyone can envision goals or have dreams.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just a dream unless you really go chase it and visualize it and have it set up there. So for me, it was massive. I think I need to do a better job of it now that I did then. But I had those things so I could look at them every day and say, this is where I want to be. And it goes to, Coach Saban, who was at Alabama, his idea of the process. Like, here's where you want to be. The things that you have to do to get there, that's the process. And I was full on invested in the process. I didn't care if I was going to reach that goal or not.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't the thing. I was so invested in what it took to get there that I was willing to just throw myself into every little thing that I thought could get me there.
Right.
I was willing to do. And I think, so to answer your question, visualization and manifestation of that is huge, because it helps your brain, I think, naturally see, here's a goal, here's what I got to do, and then you go out there and chase it.
Yeah, it's like, what is your point A? Like, where are you right now? Where's your point B? And like, what's every single step to get to point B? And then you got to know that there's going to be like more stuff in there too. It's probably only like half of it.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I call that, like, obviously that period of time is like the journey.
Yeah.
And I always used to tell people, fall in love with the journey more than the end of the journey. And if you invest in the journey, if you invest in that process, you're going to end up learning and getting so much more from that alone than you ever would just achieving that goal.
100%.
So I think
I love it, bro.
Cool.
Let's take it back to your favorite moment on the field. So walking out, obviously a great moment, but like maybe made it crazy. You're a wide receiver, tight end.
Wide receiver, tight end, H-back, but predominantly played wide receiver in college. I would say a couple other moments. One was I got to the very first time I ever got in a game, my sophomore year. So I was on the sidelines, it was senior day, so I didn't think I would get in as a walk-on, and didn't even really know the plays that well. It was hard for me to understand the plays at the time. Yeah. So I'm on the sideline, and I loved being on the sideline. Obviously I'd rather be on the field, but I took pride in being a guy who was hyping up people on the sideline. I would always get like juiced up. Like, that was my job, was to get people fired up on the sideline.
I love it.
Sophomore year, we're playing against Mercer. I believe it was Mercer, sophomore year. And I'm on the sideline. It's in the third quarter, I believe. And my helmet, I've taken it off. I put it under a bench somewhere, and I'm jumping up and down supporting my teammates. It's senior day, so I'm really excited to see some of our seniors get in if we end up beating Mercer by enough, which we did. Seniors start to get called in to go play, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. Like, super excited for these guys, and I'm hyped, just living in the moment. Yeah. And all of a sudden I hear, like, Hereford, Mac. I'm like looking around like a chicken with my head cut off. And one of my coaches is like, gosh dang it, like, what are you doing, man? He's like, get over here. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't even know where my helmet is. Yeah, I was like, me? Like, what are you talking to me? So I run, I grab my helmet, throw it on.
Yeah.
We're like getting into the huddle, and I'm like looking around. I'm like, and they're like, all right, we're running this play. And I'm like looking at one of the senior wide receivers who's a walk on, and I'm like, dude, like, what the heck is going on? Like, what play are we running? Give me a sign if it's a run or pass. I have no idea what's going on. There's like so many, Alabama's got 107,000 seats in its stadium, and it was pretty packed this day. And so I'm like, holy shit, like, we're out here. And they're like, get in there. So we run out there. I'll never forget this. My receiver splits. So splits is how far you line up from the offensive line. So it could be on the hash marks. It could be near the sideline. We were doing a run play. We were only doing run plays at the time. It's the end of the game, and we had one of my buddies back at quarterback, Austin Johnson, like hell of a player, walk on, who was a dog, could have played, plenty of other schools, Division I scholarship in my opinion. But my splits, how far I was from the offensive line, are way out. Like probably the furthest that's ever been in college football for a run play. I completely blew it. I talk about preparation. I was not necessarily prepared.
Yeah.
But I felt like I should be out there, and I felt comfortable and confident. And I hear my name, and I'm like, Mac. And I'm like, all right, this stadium's packed. How the heck am I hearing my name? Look behind me. My brother's best friends from high school and some of his best friends from college are sitting at the bottom of the stadium, and they're all yelling, and they're hammered, and they're like jumping up and down. They're like, let's go. And they showed me videos, and so later. But that moment of getting in and getting to play was so surreal for me. And just being in, a couple of plays my sophomore year, first time I got to play, I remember going back, and after that moment, I had my stuff on, and I just sat in my locker, and I was like, wow. Like, again, another moment where it's like, this is pretty surreal. This is, feels incredible. I'm proud of myself. I went back that day to my house, and, most people would be like, I may have wanted to celebrate. I didn't really want to celebrate. Like, I really wanted to just soak it in. I remember I literally went and sat on my bed in my house and just sat there and was like, wow. Like, this is awesome.
I love it.
Like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
So that's another one. And then one of my other favorites was we were in a playoff game my freshman year. We traveled to, I think it was Atlanta, and we were playing, I believe, Washington. And my brother was a senior at the time, and I absolutely love my family. And one of my brother's, Faulkner's, sitting in the stands, front row. And I spotted him before the game, like, even started.
Dang.
Like, he's wearing a red crimson jacket. And we win the game. And I don't know what was in me, but I said, screw it. If we're going to win this game, I'm going to go up and jump and see my brother. It's his senior year.
That's sick.
I'm going to create this memory regardless of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I celebrate with my teammates a little bit, and I sprint right to my brother and just jump up on this wall. And
like,
I just
past the end zone.
past
like
the
that
end
fence
zone,
right
everything.
there.
The celebration's going on. And I just plop on the wall. It's hysterical. I'm like, oh, God, be an athlete, Mac. It did not look athletic. His friends pull me up there. I'm getting pictures with them. It was just incredible to be able to share that experience with my brother, because I love my family, and I love the University of Alabama, and just having, a big win, being at this school that I've always dreamed in, seeing my brother, who I absolutely love and has been a huge impact on my life, and getting to celebrate that moment with him, and him get to celebrate it with me was one of the most special for sure. And then I have plenty of other incredible memories.
I'm sure.
Those are some of the.
But national championship, senior year with Georgia.
So it wasn't our national championship. Was my junior year, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was my junior year, or was it sophomore year? Gosh, I'm blanking. It's so many different seasons.
Yeah.
It was either my sophomore or junior year. I actually think it was my sophomore year. National championship was incredible. It was the year that we played against Georgia.
Yeah.
Tua had the big bomb to save us at the end of the game.
Whole world's watching at that
whole world's
point.
watching.
There's one game left.
It was history,
Yeah.
and I remember being on the sidelines, like, ready to go, and I couldn't believe it because we had been down some of that game. We made a quarterback substitution that no one thought was possible to do, and especially at the end of the season, we had Jalen Hurts, who's an incredible guy, leading quarterback, lead us to this point.
Dang.
And then, we're subbing in Tua Tagovailoa, and Tua comes out there, and just the energy switched, and then we're, I'm looking at the play, and we're back really far, and we don't have a lot of hope, and he rears back that ball, chunks it to Devontae Smith, and you can just see the ball spiraling, and you're like looking, and you're just like, it's like I'm in a movie while it's unfolding, catches it in the end zone, crowd goes berserk, we go nuts. That was an experience I'll definitely never forget.
That's nuts, bro. How about off the field, like, I don't know, college party, whatever, craziest moment, like, off the field, college experience?
Gosh, that's
like,
tough.
I can imagine, like, Alabama's, like, I mean,
Yeah.
it probably gets pretty nuts.
There's some of them there's some experiences I probably can never repeat that happen off the field, but it was a wild time, and I loved celebrating with my teammates and getting out those guys, especially after a victory. It was like after we won the national championship, you would have thought, we won the gosh dang Super Bowl. I guess it's pretty equivalent in a certain way.
Pretty much, yeah.
The university goes nuts for like about a week and a half. Like it feels like there's no school. It feels like we're celebrating a goddamn holiday. So that was a lot of fun for sure.
Yeah. No, I love it, bro. How about like when you ended your college career, what did you want to do? And was that kind of like a low period? Because like you basically just like achieved your dream, and now like now what?
Yeah, so I finished at Alabama. I graduated there 4 years, and I was like, all right, I've accomplished that goal, I've accomplished that dream, and I really wanted to play, get on the field because I have bigger aspirations and goals, and I wanted to see how far I could go.
Yeah.
I entered the transfer portal after that. Ended up getting a opportunity to play at Vanderbilt University.
Okay.
In Nashville for my grad year and get my master's in marketing. So my dad went there for law school. My mom went there for grad school, and it was a special part of our lives as well. And I loved the city of Nashville. And my cousin was playing college tennis at Belmont at the time. So all the stars aligned. Ended up going to Vanderbilt. Long story short, opted out like right at the beginning of the season. Had lost 2 grandparents, and talk about a tough time. Yes, it was one of the toughest times in my life. I think that I had lost family that I absolutely loved. I had to, the odds I felt like were stacked against me in football. Ended up opting out. It's COVID year.
Dang.
So it's like you can't really do much. I'm in my apartment by myself every day. Like, what am I going to do? All I've known for years of my life was this goal to get to football. And I think it showed me a lot about myself in the sense of had a little bit of an identity crisis. It was like, okay, I've always been a football player. Like who actually am I?
Yeah.
And I think when you kind of get slapped in the face right there, like it's like going out of prison in a sense.
Yeah.
I've never been in prison, but like in the same sense of I've seen in movies at least, and I always compare it to Shawshank Redemption. Like the guys get out and they don't know what to do, and I really just didn't know what to do. Like I was down, I've already like depressed about losing family. I have to opt out of the sport I love like so much, and I'm just like I got to finish my degree.
Yeah.
But we're doing it online mostly on Zoom. And I didn't get to experience Vanderbilt like most people do because it's a COVID year. It's a beautiful campus and incredible people and teachers. So it was really hard for like weeks. I was like, what do I do? And that was one of the more challenging parts of my life. And I think I just had to rely and depend on my faith and just, focus and say, you're going to figure out a way to get out of here. And it didn't happen with me just pouting and being sorry for myself, which I did for a couple of weeks.
I'm sure, bro.
It happened when I was said, you know what, like, praying about it, thinking about it, and didn't necessarily see a way out of that depression area of my life, but eventually got on my feet and said, I'm going to get out there and start doing something. And so I just started grinding, going and working out, getting back on my horse, and that changed me. That helped me, and then bang, was able to make it out of it. But it was very, very challenging after ball.
That's crazy, man. Wow. Yeah, that's talk about like high to low. Like that's a big one. What is your faith?
So I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
Not very particular on what denomination.
Yeah.
I believe in God.
Right.
I believe in Jesus Christ. And I don't do a good enough job of the practices of being a Christian, but that's what I am, and I definitely believe.
Yeah.
So that's what I rely on, and sometimes I see myself using it as a supplement rather than nurturing myself with it daily, which I should. Because I think it's easy to rely on God in hard times. But I think it's, the challenge is to exercise like a muscle your faith. But that's what I am, a Christian.
Do you think that low in life, like, that really helped your faith? Because, like, you almost like, I can't do this by myself. I need a higher power to help me out of this. Yeah.
I actually envision, because I suffer from, like, a little bit of anxiety, depression here and there in life. Sure. And I envision that every time I go through something really bad, I think, dang it, I wasn't listening, you know? And it definitely makes my faith stronger. The challenge, and I would say the key for anyone going through something, when you do rely on your faith in God, because he's the one who can get you out of that. No one else really can. You and him is what's going to get you out of it. You can talk to other people. There's counselors, there's helpful things, but at the end of the day, like, your faith and your strength and belief in him is what's going to get you out of that circumstance or condition. Yeah. And I think, when that happens, it's like I'm all in. I'm like, all right, I have nowhere to look. Yeah. So I'm like basically on my knees, like begging out for help. Yeah. And God has come time and time and time again. And I think the biggest thing that I need to tell myself, and I'm speaking it into existence, is
Yeah.
just when he's able to do that for me and help show the light and the way in the
Yeah.
darkest of times, you've got to be able to stick with them after you get out of the rut.
Yeah.
Because so many people, it's just like you rely, again, like a vitamin or
Only
some
when
kind
you
of
need
drug,
them. Yeah.
only when you need them. But the challenge is when you have that incredible, him showing himself through the hardest and darkest of times,
Yeah.
realize that's for a reason.
Yeah.
And he's doing something for you, and you need to stick with him following that.
Yeah. I feel like he has a way of humbling you, especially like when you make it to the top and you're like, oh, that was all me. Like I did all that work. But it's like, I don't know, you did that work through him. Like he allowed you all the opportunities. He gave you all the strength in order to do all those things.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of times we get humbled by God when we make it to the top and we think like, oh yeah, I can do anything,
100%, bro. There's a quote that I can't remember the exact, or not quote, a verse in the Bible.
Yeah.
It's in Corinthians, but it's like something of the nature of, I am what I am, or I am what I am, but not I, but the grace of God with me.
Yeah.
Something like along those lines. Basically saying that like you are who you are,
Yeah.
but you didn't get there without the grace of God. The grace
For
of God
sure.
is what got you there.
Yeah.
And I definitely think it's something that I need to retell myself when people ask me about accomplishments or things I've done. It ain't me.
Yeah.
I didn't do this. I was a what do you call the word? Not a funnel, but
A vessel.
A vessel.
Yeah.
I was a vessel, but this is God's work. Any accomplishments, any big things that I've done that has been cool or impressive, that's God. It's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I love that, man. So after you get out of college, what career path did you choose?
Yeah, so I'd been into social media marketing and just like I guess you could say networking with there's different variety of individuals, entrepreneurs, business people, experts, app company owners, anyone and everyone I could. I loved hearing people's stories, so I was doing that just organically for fun, and also crafting on media and marketing skills, whether it's editing videos, editing with sound, like helping build accounts. I helped with building Barstool, Alabama at Alabama.
That's sick.
Help out with Old Row Golf's golf page,
Yeah.
helped grow them. And it's like, I just was doing things for fun that I knew would be good, valuable skills later. Transitioning to after college, I worked with a social media app company and did a consulting role for them. So was helping them build on their accounts, helping connect them to people.
Right.
And all the way to there's a media marketing agency here in Nashville that started its branch in Nashville. And so I jumped on when they were first starting here, helped them grow. I'm friends with one of the founders, great guy. So I was developing skills, working with country artists, working with labels, anywhere and everywhere I could be beneficial in the media and marketing world,
Right.
As well as doing my own socials at the same time. Transitioned to where now today, doing similar stuff, but kind of trying to have a full-on attack. So I have like some partners that I'm working on one consumer product with, and then I have some other guys who we do kind of like the full attack, which is like funding. So we help out with funding for companies. Then we also help out with marketing media, connecting them to the right people. I love the role as an advisor, and that's what I've done.
Yeah.
Advisor or consultant for different companies and helping them grow, whether it's in media and marketing or in any other kind of aspect, helping them network, helping them meet the right people or hire the right people. That's what I've been doing now, along with my own social and digital media.
Yeah, it seems like you know the game inside and out. Like, what would you say the best form of marketing is and why?
Yeah, so I would say in the best form of marketing, like when it comes to branding, when people ask me, how do you build your brand? What's the number one thing you tell people? I say the number one thing is person-to-person marketing. Like for yourself, if you're talking about your personal brand, it's got to start there. How am I treating other people? How am I making an impact on them? That's the most important thing. That's what really matters.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, that doesn't really involve social and digital and this kind of what I think about media and marketing. No, it's the main thing. The main thing is being the best person you can be and impacting others directly, because that's what makes people want to follow you, want to support you, want to be a part of your mission or brand.
Yeah. So would that involve like going to like networking events? Like what else?
I would say networking events would be good. I would say
Yeah.
just honestly in anything you do. If
Right.
you have a job, if you see someone on the street who comes up to you, if you see, like at Alabama, for example, there was fans, and I would stay after every game,
Yeah.
and I would sign as many autographs as possible, talk to as many kids as possible that I
Right.
could,
Yeah.
try to make an impact on them. If it's community service, I think is huge. Getting out in the community, helping others, but really just like it comes basic down to don't have to do all these things.
Yeah.
It's when you are doing what you are doing every single day, be the best and be kind to others and
Yeah.
make an impact on them. But figure out a way you can help someone else, because that's what's real. That's the best form of marketing to me.
That's big, bro. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't say that. Like they'll come out with like, funnel and offer and lead generation and all that kind of stuff. How would you lay out, the entire funnel of like the first step of marketing, branding to like actually getting like the close, the job, whatever?
Yeah, I would say obviously like what I just said. So it starts out
Yeah.
you as an individual,
Yeah.
and this is speaking mostly from an individual status,
Right.
but you as an individual have to be doing the right things in your life and treating people the right way and have a purpose, have a mission.
Right.
When you have that, then you take that and you say, how do I translate this to a bigger audience? Well, you showcase some of the things you're doing. So you put it on socials, whatever your purpose is, your passion is, you helping others, you doing other things, whatever business work you're doing.
Yeah.
So you start off, you have just the individual, bare bottom, like person-to-person marketing. Then you need to showcase that. So you need to figure out a way to showcase that.
Personal brand.
Personal brand, and that's documenting. So that's the first thing I tell people, and it's document, don't create. So first think about it as documenting these experiences, these times you've had with people, and then when you plant the seed of creativity, this moment can be a cool thing to document. This moment can be a cool time to create something special that I think other people would love. And I tell people the number one thing is plant the seed. Plant the seed of creativity. You can do it, and you just have to have that seed where, I'll walk into this place. Well, maybe this can be a moment. Maybe this can be a moment.
Yeah.
And you'll see that each and every person is individually unique. And so for everyone, that's why I think I don't have a strict do this model.
Yeah.
No, it's start off to being the best person you can be, impacting people, finding your purpose and your vision. Start showing that to the world in any way you think you can possible. Document everything.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to document that you think would be good, because I love to document because it's for me personally. And then it's also so I can look back at it.
Yeah.
But also someone else may want to see that what you're doing or your method of doing things. And then when you got that down, then you can start to establish a business with it.
Right.
You can start to say, okay, all right, we got TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, whatever these things are, and start to build a model. Then you get a team. And then when people see the whole way through, when you've done it the right way and you have a mission, you may not have millions of followers, but you're going to have people who follow you for you.
Yeah.
And that's what's most important in a brand, is if they really believe in you. That's the thing. And then when they believe in you, then if you want to push a product,
Right.
if you want to help encourage people to go to help learn from you in a certain way of something you've done,
Yeah.
that's where you can do that. But that's kind of my model in a nutshell, I would say, or the way I think it should be done. But
Nah, man, that's good. I like it a lot. How efficient or how good are you with like offers? Like right now I'm reading Alex Hormozi's $1 Million Offer book. Are you in that world?
not really.
Yeah.
I know the name Alex Hormozi.
Yeah.
I see him. I think he's the long hair, brown guy. Or
Black hair, bodybuilder.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with that world. I think we've talked about it before, and it's fascinating because I think a lot of the people you're around are all in that kind of stuff, and a lot of people I'm even around are just in that stuff constantly. But I like to, rather than, I should read more and should study more and get more from podcast or YouTube, but I like to figure out things really just by living out in my daily life.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, I love it. What would you say is hot right now in the business world, entrepreneur world? Like what jobs are you doing right now for like people?
Yeah. So I would say there's a lot of these big brands and companies, and we've seen this has been since, I think, in the 2000s, whenever social media and digital media started to come out.
Yeah.
It's big right now, but it's still the future. It's going to continue to grow, social media, digital media marketing. And I think that's the most fun thing that's untapped, is you have a lot of older people maybe not older, but older people who don't necessarily understand the things that we do.
Yeah.
How to get on a podcast, what to do on a podcast, how to do clips, why clips are important.
Right.
The fact that TV at one point was where all the eyes were.
Exactly.
Now the new channel or the new medium is social media. And it's like, okay, how can we transition and help these people who built an incredible product or thing and help them learn how to utilize that on social media? Because that's where, so I'm doing a lot of advising right now and consulting for companies that have built products, that have brands, that are a company, and they're trying to get out there. And there's a big disconnect still on how important social and digital media marketing is, and how these, like, in campaigns and, you know, events, how important these things are. Because traditional, it's radio, it's TV. That's where a lot of people's brains were. Now it's transitioning to this new thing. So how can I help you take a product, you know, whether it's a shoe, whether it's a, you know, a bottle, whatever it is, and you've created it. The genius minds have built a team, but you're missing this key part. So helping them realize that and how they need to operate on social and digital is something I'm doing right now that I think is really, really important. It's still very, very new to me.
Gotcha. How would you approach starting a personal brand? Like, say someone's like listening to this and like, yo, I need to do that. I need to start a personal brand. I need to start making content, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever. How would you recommend people start? And do you have like any strategies?
Yeah. So if I was like, I'll take you for example, as if you didn't have any social or digital media experience. I'd be like, you know, hey, look, the first thing is, like I told you earlier, plant the seed of documenting, creating. Your life is incredible. This is what I would tell other people is, your life is incredible. You have awesome experiences and things, and you're so unique. So the things you do are different than any other person in the world. Start to realize that, cherish your life, and know that your life is, again, unique and independent from other people. And that even if you are being a street sweeper, even if you're like a person who's doing this job or that job, your life is important, and it's an experience that someone else hasn't lived or been able to see. The
niche is you.
Yes, exactly. So find a way to showcase you. And the way to start is first realize that, have the realization, and know you need to document and create. And then I tell people, pull out your phone. People are like, oh, I'm not good at talking on camera. Cameras scare me. I get it. It can be scary. But how are you going to start? It doesn't mean you have to go ahead and post it to the world. Just pull out your phone and document for yourself. I met a guy who's an incredible creator, Jason Jackson Jr. He does a lot of like motivational, faith-based things. Great motivational speaker on TikTok, Instagram, everything. And has done an incredible job with his brand. I was talking to him. He was making videos to himself, trying to get him through a rough time. And in return, then was like, all right, I may post these. And the way he was talking was so organic and real and unique that people felt that, and they followed along with it. Now he's booming and blowing up. So I would say, again, the first thing is the realization of, you can do this. It's as easy as picking up a phone and recording something. If it's that easy, start. Whether it's you brushing your teeth, film yourself freaking brushing your teeth. I don't know. Whatever you do throughout the day, if you want to tell a story, if you want to document or journal notes, you know, instead of maybe typing it down, which is a great thing to do, speak about it. And just put your phone up. And the more times you do that, the more comfortability you get, and the more your creative brain grows. Because when that seed grows and it becomes, I've seen people go from, you know, not having any experience or knowing what to do to becoming far beyond what I ever thought they could. Just because they picked up a phone or they picked up a camera and they started to experiment and started to fall in love with the process of enjoying and creating content or documenting things.
Just like anything else, it's a skill, and like the right people are going to relate to you. I remember when I was like 19, I had to do a submission video, and dude, this submission video took me forever. Like, I was trying to get it perfect, and I was absolutely terrible. And now, you know, I do podcasts all the time, like, you know, all the time. So it's definitely a skill. And like, once you do it for a little bit, like, it really comes naturally. And
the cool thing is, again, everyone's so different. So it's like, you may have a different approach than I do. That's why I don't tell people it's got to be this or this or this or that way. All I tell people is just try. Just freaking go out there and do it. Like, you never know. You may be a person that the world just absolutely falls in love with. You know, you don't know until you start to attempt it. And it's easy as picking up a phone, documenting, and creating experiences that you or someone else may have. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And you learn. You learn, and you become great at it.
So what are some of the things that you advertise? Like, what is your brand? I know you're golfing, You like to kind of just like bring up like what's hot right now and talk about it, all those kinds of things.
Yeah,
Right?
I would say it's a common. I used to tagline it Herf Life, so everyone in college called me Herf. Like a lot of my college teammates are Big Herf, and so I was like, someone once told me a kid was like made some video or something.
Yeah.
Someone's like, Mac is everywhere. He's doing everything. What does this guy even do? And someone responded like he's living the Herf life,
Yeah.
and it stuck with me. And so I've taken that, and I can't say I know exactly what it is, like exactly what the exact thing is, which is probably people are like, "Ah, this guy's an idiot." But to me, it's that's it.
Right.
I'm not put into one hole or one group of things. I don't have one specific thing I talk about.
Yeah.
The way I like to live life and the way I like to do my brand is basically in the same sense of how I would challenge other people to do it is whatever you like to do and whatever you want to showcase and do,
Right.
do it. And
Exactly.
so for me, that's the things I love, and the things I broadcast mostly are sports. I love sports, playing sports,
Yeah.
whether it's pickleball, basketball, football, golf, anything. I love all competitive sports. And so I showcase that. And that's kind of an area that I've worked with brands on, is in the sports area. I've worked with ESPN, done stuff with College Game Day,
Right.
the NFL, done things with these different groups. And so showcasing that part of my life. But then also, here's a marketing thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about it. Most
Yeah.
people say get in a niche and follow that niche, and that's a great way to grow.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's like a wrong way. A lot of these like people or experts or whatever say, here's a right way, here's a wrong way, and it gets them a lot of views. My thing is, I think it's whatever's the right way for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, whatever you're interested in,
Yeah.
figure that out, learn that, and that's what it is. So for me, it's a variety of freaking everything.
I mean, look at Joe Rogan. I mean, he talks about UFC one day, aliens the next day. The next day he has like Jordan Peterson. So he's all over the place. He just talks about whatever he likes, comedy, whatever. So, I mean, he's like a prime example.
Yeah, that's exacy, like I said, that's exactly where I'm at. It's like I love a lot of different things. I'm interested in a ton of different things.
Yeah. So you've been in Nashville for how long now?
Been in Nashville for 4 years.
4 years. So, I mean, you're pretty used to the spot. What are some of the best food spots in Nashville?
Okay, so I've talked about some of them before.
Yeah.
One of them that I absolutely love is Pilato. It's an Italian
dude,
restaurant.
I just went there last week.
Incredible,
It's
dude.
good.
Did you enjoy it?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, they have different courses. The food comes out, it's fresh. The presentation is amazing, and it just really fills up my stomach. I have a great experience there, the vibe and atmosphere of it. If anyone's coming to Nashville, that's one of the places I would definitely say go to Pilato.
Yeah, the portions are, I guess they're a little smaller, but they're meant for, like, sharing.
Yes.
So you get, like, a bunch of different entrees, like chicken parm, I think, like, penne alla vodka. The burnt broccoli there, pretty nuts.
Pretty
dude.
nuts.
You
And
would never think.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't want burnt broccoli, but, like, nah, I get it.
And part of the shareable experience adds to the dining experience.
Exactly.
Being able to talk to your friends or
Yeah.
whoever you bring with you.
Yeah.
What did you think about this? Oh, try this one. Try this plate. Did you like that? Did you like this?
All right.
So that's one of the places I really love and enjoy here that I go.
So Pilato, what's another one?
I'm blanking so hard right now. I literally thought about this beforehand, and now I'm freaking blanking.
One of the spots I like is, I think it's ML Rose. It's like a
Okay.
burger spot.
Yeah.
I think it's in West Nashville, but really good burgers. Like, they have like a whole burger menu. Good sweet potato fries. They have like a crunch wrap, and then they have like, beers on beers. Just a really cool vibe in there, inside, outside. Definitely just like purely Nashville in there.
Yeah.
What's another one?
Dude, I just thought of one place that if anyone was asked to ask me, where do I get a burger in Nashville? I would tell them Jack Brown's. Jack Brown's is a place you need to go.
Okay.
Incredible burgers,
Yeah.
great like just raw bar atmosphere. It feels like a real it's not a chain.
Yeah.
They do have a couple of them, I believe.
Jack Brown.
But Jack Brown's is great burgers, great environment, atmosphere. Like I love their burgers. They're great.
Have you been to Skulls? Like,
I've not
right
been
by
to Skulls.
downtown. It's probably like the most authentic like Nashville spot. You normally have to make a reservation to get in though.
Okay.
But I think they have like live band, just like bar stools, booths, crazy prime rib, just crazy dishes. I don't know the entire menu, but like totally Nashville.
Okay.
Like, if there's like a Nashville spot, like that's the one. For sure. Skulls.
Okay.
Yeah.
One
definitely.
more I just remembered too
Yeah.
while you're talking. One of my go-to spots that I love. It's just got the feel of it is so authentic. It's located, I don't even know the location to be honest.
Yeah.
Near the Nations kind of, but it's called Wendell Smith's. It's a breakfast spot and then it's a meat and three. And so like in the breakfast, like imagine Waffle House,
Mm.
but like more local, and it's got the same people coming in and out.
Yeah.
And the food is fresh. The waiters and waitresses are
Yeah.
awesome. You know, like
Mhm.
they're cooking it right back in there and they're putting it
Yeah.
on your plate. It's
Yeah.
quick. The food feels like mama's home cooked
Yeah.
meal. Like it is electric.
Yeah.
That's one place that I forgot that is an awesome
No,
vibe
that's
that
good.
I love to go. I think is a sleeper in Nashville.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to recap, Pilato,
Yep.
Jack Brown's.
Yep.
I said ML Rose and Skulls.
Skulls.
So I know we're a little all over the place with this conversation.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like everybody comes to Nashville at some point.
Yep.
So definitely go to those spots. And if you are in Nashville and didn't hit any of the spots up, definitely check them out.
100%.
Yeah. Golf. You said you have a passion for golf. When did that start? Why?
Yeah, so I absolutely love the sport of golf.
Yeah.
I started playing about 3 or 4 years ago when I was in Nashville. It was actually during that time that I was kind of struggling with the identity crisis of, okay, ball is over.
Yeah.
My cousin David, who's just an incredible golfer, gets me and he's like, hey, like just come out and play golf with us and the boys. I come out and play a round of golf with the boys, and immediately it was like, this sport is one of the hardest sports I've ever played.
Yeah.
You know, but like I did get a birdie on one of my first
Dang.
rounds, and I was like, holy shit, like, okay, like, I mean, Tiger Woods gets a birdie here and there. Like, I should keep playing this. And it was challenging. I had horrible clubs at the time, fell in love with the game, the ability to be with your friends, to have that much time to spend out together. You know, it's really fun when you're competing, you're getting to talk to people, and you're there with them for a prolonged period of time. Where, like, you know, other things, you're always on your phone or you're always watching something or doing something. You're getting to compete. You're getting to hang out with your friends, and you're getting to be out in the outdoors, get some good sun,
True.
and play a freaking sport that's harder than hell to play.
Yeah. True.
And, you know, I love it. I love the sport of golf. It's 100% awesome, and I have some great memories from the sport as well.
Any memory that sticks out?
Dude, one that is crazy. I'll probably botch this story, but we have our friend group does a golf tournament to celebrate the life of one of our other buddies' brothers, you know, and so he passed away in 2021. But we have this friend group golf tournament, and we actually have odds we place on each team. It's 2v2v 2v2, and one year, which actually this past year, every team in this golf tournament had a way of preparing for the tournament. It was like, I think 4 or 5 teams.
Right.
One team did a wine night the night before. One team watched golf videos. One team watched a golf movie. My team, we did what I didn't want to do. We went to a nice dinner, and I told my partner, so we're going to end it here. The night before this big golf tournament that we've all, like, you know, we have a certain buy-in for each group, and there's a cash prize.
Sure.
The night before, my teammate and I end up out at what's called Pushin' Daisies. A club bar, like, you know,
underground club kind of thing.
Yeah, underground club type of place in Nashville. And my partner and I start having a couple too many drinks. It gets to the point where we're getting a gosh dang table, and we're sending in bottles to the group tournament group chat saying we're celebrating before we already won this thing.
That's so funny.
It was crazy. The next day, we're the last people to the opening breakfast. And I'm like, kind of got jitters, had a little bit to drink too much that night before. And there's a lot of money on the line. And so I'm like, holy cow, like, what have I done? Like, we got to win this thing. Other people know about this tournament. They're calling and asking their buddies about it. They're like wagering on different teams.
Yeah.
We get out there in the first couple of holes. We absolutely shit the bed. I'm telling you, it was god awful. Neither me nor my partner could hit a single good shot.
Yeah.
We're like 4 over through, I think, 3 or 4 holes is a scramble.
Right.
You know, and the leading team is like 3 under or something. At this point, I'm like, okay, there might not be any shot that we're going to win this thing. My cousin's calling me. He knows some of the people in the tournament. He's like, y'all are screwed. Y'all lost this. My other cousin was like hoping we would win. He's like, dude, what have y'all done to me? I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm about to lose a hell of a lot of money. And, you know, I'm playing some of the worst golf of my life, and I don't feel great. And I'm like, damn, I'm almost like defeated. I look back in the cart. I look at my partner. He's in shambles. You know, he can't hit a single ball to save his gosh dang life.
Dang.
And I look at him, and I'm like, man, we're out here, you know, with some of our best friends playing a tournament. You know, this is the life. Like, we've already won. You know, we won before this even started. I said, let's get a couple of high noons. Let's fire it up a little bit, and let's just have the best rest of the round of our lives, just in fun. We get a couple of high noons. Next hole, my partner and I birdie. Next hole after that, my partner nukes a drive. It hits the cart path and bounces within an eagle range for a putt on a par 4. He putts it in eagle. So
Dang.
we've gone down. That's minus 3 strokes right there.
Shout out to the high noons.
Shout out to the high noons. Next hole, I birdie. Next hole, we come out there and birdie. And then the final hole on 9, the 9th hole, we're like kind of back in this thing at this point.
Yeah.
My partner chips in a ball. And we were like, we birdie again. And so now we've gone from being in the last of the pack to having no hope to, in a couple of holes, the whole entire round changes. We're leading the pack.
Dang.
At this point, I'm putting the pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
Our vibes are high. We go out there on the back 9. We come back and we win this thing. Glory is given to us. We have the cup, the championship trophy. We're
That's
drinking. We're
crazy.
chugging high noons out of it. We're celebrating. Biggest comeback. One of the best golf memories
That's
I've had in my whole
epic.
entire life.
That's crazy, bro. Yeah, high noons, bro. That's where it's at.
Just telling us we already won, man.
Yeah.
And basically we didn't throw in the towel, but we kind of did, and
Yeah.
it helped us win the whole entire match.
Dang, bro.
But that's what I love about golf. You can be losing,
Right.
and within a couple of holes, even in one hole, everything can change. Everything.
Yeah. That's awesome, bro. Have you ever been skydiving?
I have. Yeah, I love I'm glad you brought that up because I absolutely love skydiving and I have a crazy experience. I was in a period of time, again, where I was like, still figuring things out. I'm like, I just need to do stuff. I need to have a crazy experience. And I'm like, I've always wanted to skydive.
Yeah.
So I called my buddy. His name is Hatton. And I call him. I'm like, hey, Hatton, like, I don't know if it's possible, but can we go skydiving? And Hatton's like a skydiving guru. This guy does this stuff all the time. He calls me back. He's like, yeah, there's a group that'll do a deal with you. And ESPN actually had contacted me about potentially doing a video for Alabama, Texas opening game of the season. So I'm like, all right, has anyone ever taken a college football handoff out of the sky? I don't know. I've never been skydiving, but like, let's do this thing. The guy calls me back, Hatton, and he's one of my buddies, and he's like, hey, we're going to go skydiving in 2 days or like the next day. And I'm like, holy shit, like skydiving the next day. I don't know if I signed up for this, but I drive my car to Alabama, go to Alabama skydiving, I think is the name of the place, or Alabama Skydive. I pull up, and it still hasn't hit me. I'm doing this. This is literally, I made the decision I want to skydive. The next day, I'm going to freaking skydive in Alabama, driving down there. And on the way there, I'm like, what am I doing? So we get there. I'm watching the instructional video. Like, I'm kind of like half awake. Like, I'm kind of tired from the drive. Like, kind of been like, just like not really paying full attention. I wish I did a better job of watching that video, but I'm watching the video and I'm kind of like sitting there like half-handedly, and it's telling me stuff about do this, do that. And I'm like, yeah, like whatever. I'm going to skydive. And then it becomes reality. There's a Hispanic guy who comes up to me. He's like, I'm going to be your skydiving guy. He's going to be on the back of you or tandem or whatever.
Right.
And I'm like, great, nice to meet you. I don't even know this guy. I've never met this freaking guy. And I'm attached to him on this certain thing. I'm laughing. I'm kind of like, okay, we put on our harnesses. Then we get in the plane. And this is where it starts to hit. I'm like, all right, I got this Hispanic guy behind me.
Yeah.
He's not speaking great English, but he's speaking like, relatively good English. He's telling me it's going to be okay. I'm like, I am strapped to someone with a couple of straps, and he's telling me it's going to be okay. We're now thousands and thousands of feet in the sky. I'm looking out the windows of the plane. I'm like, oh my God, like, what have I done? Like, I'm screwed. This is the end for me. Like, literally, the only thing protecting me is a couple of ropes and harnesses.
Yeah.
I get up there. We get to the top of the thing. I'm seeing people go out the window. Boom, 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 boom. Another person after another person. I'm freaking panicking. I'm telling you, I'm losing my mind. Not only that, it's my first time skydiving. I'm with a random guy I've never met on my back telling me he's going to make sure I'm safe. I'm trusting this guy with my goddamn life. And I'm about to get a football handoff. So we get up to the door, and we start nudging there. And there's the guy. My buddy Hatton is out the door. He's got the football. He's confident. He's comfortable. He's done this before. He's holding the football out, ready to give me the handoff. I'm thinking, I don't even want to grab a football right now because I'm so scared. We're about to jump out of a plane. I'm looking down there, and bro, it is one of the most incredible things you've ever seen. You're just seeing just sky. It is literally like a freaking movie. Like, I'm looking through, like I'm in a ride at Disney World, and I'm going through, and it's like one of those simulators. This is real life.
Dang.
I'm seeing the wind blow. I'm the last person in the plane with this guy on my back. And all I could think about was, Mac, you are not going to drop this football. You're going to hold on to this football with your dear life. I don't remember what they told me, anything they told me to do. All that went right out the window, out my brain. I'm thinking like, I don't know what's going on. I lean up to the end of the thing, and I'm like, holy shit. Like, I'm sitting here, I'm freaking scared shitless. And then I lean out, grab that football, and I remember closing my eyes and being like, holy, I'm in here, and I'm flying, and you're going, and like the whole world's spinning and stuff. And then I open my eyes, and I'm like, oh my God, like, what am I doing? I'm holding on the football. We start to spin because in skydiving, your legs are supposed to go like underneath the other person's body, and you're supposed to have your body out like this. Well, I'm holding on onto a football, so my body is naturally crunched over.
Right.
And I'm not letting go of this football.
Right.
You know, I'm scared it's going to fly off and hit somebody or
Right.
something. So I'm holding on to the football, and we start to spin out because I'm not doing it the right way. And the guy's like punching me, trying to tell me where to put my feet. I have no idea what's going on. We're spinning and spinning and spinning, and it's like a movie, like, whoo, whoo. Like you're seeing, like I'm seeing, like as if a plane's going down, and you're in one of those military movies. They have like you're seeing lights and stuff, and I'm like, what's going on? All of a sudden, bang! The parachute deploys. We spin out. We're flying, and we're in the air.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, and I'm like, oh my god, like we have done it. And that moment right there, I think there's like someone has a quote about it, Will Smith or something that talks about it, but it's one of the most beautiful, undescribable moments of my whole entire life. You've just conquered the fear of death in a way.
Yeah.
And you're looking around and you see just, you know, you believe in God, like you're going to believe in God even more if you go skydiving.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you look around you and you see the world, and you're up in a place where you don't think you should be. Like, I don't think I should be thousands and thousands of feet in the air. I'm not in a plane. I'm not in a vehicle.
Right.
I'm out in it. I'm out in this thing.
Exactly.
And so that experience, I can't really describe every little feeling, but it was just, I was in awe. I was in awe of the world, and I felt this like, you know, this blanket of like gratitude and just gratefulness of like, wow, like look at the world from this point of view. It's so much bigger, and it puts a lot of your perspective and widens that perspective. And that shortly, though, it goes for a little while, and then it shortly kind of ends because you're about to come in and land.
Yeah.
And I forget what they told me to do on the landing. The guy's talking to me a little bit, telling me like, keep your legs up. And I'm like, holy cow, we're coming in hot. Like we're speeding down there, and then we're like hit the ground and we're freaking speeding up. I'm thinking my legs are going to get chopped off. And we get there, and I'm like, oh my God. And the guy comes up, my buddy Hatton's like, you did it. And I was like, he's like, what do you feel like? And I'm like, dude, you're asking me to feel something right now. Like, I'm just, thank God I'm alive. So skydiving is, I think, make sure you go to the right place, make sure you're with the right people, and take the right precautions, and know there are obviously risks to skydiving. You know, I'm not telling everybody to go out there and skydive. There have been deaths from skydiving, but for me, it was one of the most crazy experiences I've ever had.
Yeah. I mean, you sold me. I've never went before. I've always wanted to go. I need to go.
You would love it.
Oh, I know I would. 100%.
It's awesome.
Yeah, you sold me. So when you grabbed the football, were you like in the air already, and then someone handed it to you?
I was on like the edge of the plane.
Okay.
And the guy was holding me on the back.
Okay.
And I'm leaning over, and the guy.
So as you're going off.
Yes. As I'm going off this freaking plane, I'm having to get a handoff. And there's one thing I could do right, and that's hold on the goddamn football.
Yeah, that's it.
And I did it.
That probably helped a little bit. It kind of takes your mind off of like the fear, and now you got to hold on to the ball. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe
Just I made it. You know, I survived.
Yeah. No, I love it, bro. Sports betting industry company?
Yes. So I worked with a sports betting company called Wager. One of the groups that I did like consulting for, that I was in their marketing and media department, helped come in.
Yeah.
They were awesome to work with. The CEO, COO, both Harvard grads, incredibly impressive people. They had a great team around them of a lot of different things, but it was awesome for me to get to learn, and also, you know, use a lot of the things I've learned along the way, help them build a, you know, basically an internal engine rather than spending money on influencers, you know, getting guys to post about them. We bought influencers in.
Yeah.
We had 2 guys who were talent and helped them generate and make content. And then they were able to build it in-house.
Right.
So because now, instead of relying on other people, we've got our own internal engine. We've got personalities. We've got guys who are talking about sports betting, doing it, and they were enjoying it. And so help them come in. To transition, though, why that's a fun topic is I never was into sports betting. I couldn't do it in college, so I didn't because of NCAA rules and regulations.
Sure.
And then following that, I always thought, like, sports betting, like, my friends who do it, they're idiots and all this stuff. And then because I worked with this company, I wanted to dive in and get all the information I could about this market. So I was downloading other apps and putting in like $20 here, $30 here, you know, testing out these different apps, their referral programs, getting the ins and outs. Fast forward to that year's New Year's is one of my favorite sports betting memories or moments in my entire life. I have a bunch of buddies in town for New Year's, all celebrating, and all of them are big sports bettors, and they're putting together serious amounts of cash on these playoff games. So it was like Alabama. You know, there was another game. It was like a TCU game they were betting on. The whole day is exciting and electric. The community that it brings. There's a lot of negatives to sports betting, but there's some pros as well. The community is awesome, of people just rallying behind something and getting invested in something.
Yeah.
Well, that night is New Year's Eve, and so I always try to go all out for my friends. So I get us a table at this big party. It was at the Sheraton at the time. It was a Great Gatsby gala, whatever you say the term is. So I have this table that I've put in a fair share of money for to reserve, and I'm just like, I hope my friends are going to have a good time, and they also paid for it, whatnot.
Yeah.
We go to a pregame, and they're watching a game. It's Georgia versus Ohio State. My whole entire friend group, everyone who's come in town, about 6 or 7 guys, all have money on the Georgia Bulldogs, and I'm talking a lot of money, thousands of dollars between a pretty small group of people.
Right.
So we're at this pregame watching the game, and it doesn't look good for Georgia. It's a back and forth battle, but it ain't looking great. Flash forward, I have to go get to the table and reserve the spot. So I'm at the table at the Sheraton by myself.
Yeah.
I'm in my suit, and I'm like sitting there happy, but also stressing because I know my friends and their happiness is relying on this goddamn football game. A buddy of mine at the table to the right has the game on his phone and pulls it up, and the ball is about to drop. We're super late to this party. We're like extremely late to this party. I'm the only one at this table. The whole party has already been going and started. My friends wanted to watch this game.
Dang.
It gets to the point where the ball is about to drop. It's New Year's is coming. No one's at this freaking table that I've spent this money for, planned out and everything. I'm like, okay, this can't be happening. My buddy pulls out the phone. Ohio State is about to kick the field goal for the win. And I'm thinking to myself, like, dang, I planned this weekend. I'm a people pleaser. I want my friends to have a good time. I'm sitting at this table by myself. Are they even going to come if Georgia loses this football game?
Dang.
I look to the guy to my right. He's got a table with a bunch of friends, and he's got the game on. And he says, Mac, he's like, the kick's about to happen. And I'm like, this is it. It's a very makeable kick.
Yeah.
Ohio State has the kick to win the football game. They're going to win this game. My buddy says, Mac, he goes, if I had all the money in the world, I would bet that they missed this field goal. And I'm thinking, this guy, he doesn't even know about sports betting. He's not betting on this game. What does he know about football?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's all hope is lost, but I'm kind of like, there's a little bit of hope there.
Yeah.
Bang. The field goal goes up, and it's a freaking miss. Georgia Bulldogs win the football game. I look to my left. My buddies come through the door. They're jumping up like they won the game themselves. They're going nuts. And I'm like, it's here. Like, you've done it. We're all celebrating. The ball drops at the same exact time that the Georgia Bulldogs won the football game. And we're popping bottles. We're going nuts. I've never had a more stressful moment, but more fun moment. It's just like the fact that all my friends were excited. And then we won.
Yeah.
We hit big. And that New Year's is one I'll never forget.
Bro. That's crazy. Yeah, what is your opinion on sports betting? Like, you think like people do it too much and they invest too much into it?
100%. I think that it's always been a hard place for me because once I started to learn and understand it and see that the people are in it, the community it brings is pretty incredible.
Yeah,
the amount of fun you have with your friends, sitting around placing bets together, sitting down, putting in a long shot parlay.
It gets your heart beating. That's for sure.
It gets your heart beating. Yeah. You hit a 10-leg touchdown score parlay. You see a friend take $100 to $27,000. You're going freaking nuts. It's one of the best moments in your life, and people can talk about it, and it helps you stay into the game and things like that. There are a lot of pros to sports betting. It's fun. It brings community. It's a way you can relate to people, talk to people, stay in touch. There are a lot of cons as well. I see a lot of guys who can't handle it, and they bet too much. They rely on these things. At the end of the day, it's always going to be a little bit lucky, and Vegas always knows. They're doing this. They're providing these sports books. They're giving these deals because they know in the end they're winning. They're winning, and they win most of the time. So I would say that, like, it's an interesting opinion because I've seen people have horrible things happen from it, lose tremendous amounts of money, and then there's also a beauty to it. I think that you have to find the perfect area of what is an okay amount to bet, and what is that for me, and what am I actually willing to lose, and knowing the risk involved, and truly knowing that, and helping you and your friends keep each other accountable to make sure you're not overspending and that you're making the smartest plays you can. But at the end of the day, no one can really sit and tell you 100% what's going to happen.
No.
So there's always that risk, but I think I, in a sense, am willing to pay, however much it is, a couple of $20 or so to lose throughout like a month, maybe $100 if it's really bad. And I don't like losing that money, but it's also fun because the community and the group of people that, are around me and that do it with me at times it's fun.
Do you think the chances are better than going to the casino and playing blackjack?
I would argue that they're probably pretty similar, but they are better in sports betting. For the people who really know how to sports bet, really can analyze games, for the people who know ball.
Right.
your chances are going to be better because you have more information. You're able to get access to more information.
You know all the injuries.
You know the ins and outs, the players, the coaches. You've seen tendencies. Again, you cannot fully predict 100%.
Never.
But a lot of people, there are some successful sports bettors out there who are winning, who do win money yearly because they do study these things. You know what I'm saying? But for the just casual sports bettor, I mean, unless you're getting help, like it's probably the same odds as flipping a card, you know?
What's the best platform you think?
I like DraftKings, but all of them are pretty good. Hard Rock Sportsbet, DraftKings.
Are they all pretty much the same?
Yeah, they're all pretty much the same. They have like good reward programs, good referral deals, everything like that. So they're pretty much the same in that sort of sense, and they're all good, you know, to my knowledge.
Yeah. So you submitted this question to me. When someone is rude or mean, who is a random person?
No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I get this question.
Okay.
So what I was meaning to say there is like basically one of the things I heard, and one of my cousins actually said it.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the things that I do that I just want to talk about that I think is funny or that I think is cool to think about. When you're walking around, when you're doing something, for example, I was in New York one year and walking around and some guy like just I'm listening to my headphones. I'm from the South. I love people. I love just like, you know, genuine people, generous people and stuff like that. In New York, there's a lot of different people. They're very aggressive. And one guy like nails me in the shoulder and I'm like, whoa, like what the heck? And I'm like smiling at him and he's like, what the heck? This guy's smiling at me. The whole thing that I like to think about that I would challenge people to think about anytime, whether it's you're in traffic and someone cuts you off. You know, a lot of people get road rage. A lot of people get upset when someone cuts them in a line, does something that's, you know, not very nice. I would challenge people to have the thought of what's your end game, you know? And that's what I like to ask people, you know, when that happens. I don't really verbalize. Sometimes I just let it happen and just smile. You know, smile and wave as one of those penguins from Madagascar said or whatever it is. But what's your end game is something to think about, even for yourself when you get triggered. So when something happens, whether it's on the road, whether it's in person, you're like, dang, like that sucks. What's your end game? Meaning, what is going to be being mean in this second? What is it that you have to prove a point to somebody? No. And what is it when someone else does something to you? What's their end game? You know? And it's like, that's a cool thought to have because it's like, all right, it helps you realize what is the point of getting mad at certain little things. You know, a lot of times people got their own stories, their own things going on, their own issues, their own problems. And it's like, if someone's mean to me or doesn't treat me well, like you can think what's their end game, but what's my end game? You know, and how's it going to help to immediately react and get into that situation and, you know, get upset about it.
Yeah, bro, that's such a good point. Because I remember I was on a flight to Hawaii and I was in like the second to last seat. There was someone behind me and I just kept they kept shaking my freaking seat and like I'm like trying to sleep. I'm like half asleep. I think I had like a Jack and Coke, so I'm like a little out of it. And like eventually I just started like shaking it back. And then her boyfriend was like probably like 10 seats above. They switched with me. He's like pretty big. Now I got to sit for the rest of my flight with this big dude. Like, I'm like, I don't know if he's going to punch me in the face at some point or what. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I dealt with that in the right way. Like, what was my end game there? Like, I should have just like, hey, like,
yeah, you can ask them.
Right.
You know? But it's challenging. Like, I find myself, even with knowing that, there are times, and you bring up the plane. The plane is the number one. Someone's got their armrest on, like they're pushing their arm on my armrest. I'm like, get off me. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this person thing?
Especially if right in the beginning, you can't be dealing with that in the beginning. You gotta tell them right away.
Yeah, 100%. So I think that's just like a little note I wanted to leave people, or a thought to have when something like that happens, to challenge yourself to think, what's my end game?
Yeah.
You know, what is it going to solve for me being mean or letting this even upset me?
Yeah.
Shouldn't upset me. Like, you know, be grateful. One is a great way to get through it. Gratitude is an incredible thing. But like at the same time, like, dude, what is being mean to someone else or saying something else? Just talk it out.
Yeah.
And if they can't talk it out, again,
yeah, you're really giving your power to them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're letting it affect you, and therefore they have your power. You know, they have your focus, your energy now. So there's really no point. There's, you know, just deal with it in peace and gratitude.
100%.
Yeah, no, I love it. Yeah, we'll get wrapped up. I got one more question for you. If you were on your deathbed and you had like one thing to say your family, your friends were surrounding you, what would you say?
Gosh. Let me try to envision myself in this moment. I'm on my deathbed. My family would definitely be around me because I love my family, and that's like the most important thing on this earth to me.
Yeah.
I would just tell them how much I love them. I'd tell them how I'm proud of each and every single one of them and how much I love them dearly and how incredible each and every single one of them are, and to never give up, and to, you know, continue to spread love and have joy and take that on to as many possible people as you can.
Dude, I love that. Well, bro, you're an inspiration for sure. Thanks for coming on. And yeah, I got a lot of value out of this. I think the listeners did too. So appreciate you, bro.
Dude, thanks for having me on. Glad you made it happen. I know I ramble a lot, say a bunch of different stuff.
Dude, it was good. A lot of good stories.
But glad to be on, and proud of you and the things you're doing. And
appreciate you, bro.
You know, again, really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, bro. Awesome, bro.
Let's go.
Signing off.